Hello and welcome to our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World resorts in 2019. Today is day 363.
We got up very early here at Boardwalk in our little cottage and got ready for the day so that we could head over to Hollywood Studios. We are going to attempt to secure a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance today. And to do that, we have to be in the park, which doesn't officially open until 7, but then they also have the extra magic hours that start at 6. And you can get there earlier than that, and it also was raining, so we decided instead of walking from Boardwalk to take our car, drove over to Hollywood Studios and got there about 5:30, waited with the crowd outside to go in the rain, and eventually did make it into the park where they held all of us there on Hollywood Boulevard. Right at 6 o'clock they opened up and let everybody disperse throughout the park, but we just stood in one spot and worked on getting a boarding group first before we went anywhere else. We were testing out a new way of doing it to see which way was faster, using the app already open or opening the app from scratch and not having it open at all. We tested it out, and actually opening the app fresh, brand new, not already having it open, was faster this time, which was really surprising to us. But we were able to get a boarding group, and a very early boarding group at that, so we should be able to ride sometime this morning. Since everybody in the park is rushing over to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run and Slinky Dog Dash and Tower of Terror, we went over to Star Tours, which had literally no wait. It was completely walk-on, and we rode because we knew they had some new scenes from the Rise of Skywalker movie. We did ride and found that both of the scenes were from Rise of Skywalker, which was pretty cool that they tied in something that literally just came out in theaters a couple weeks ago here in the parks. When we got out, it was still raining here, so we decided we're not going to stick around in the park and wait for our boarding group to be called. Alyssa and her sister are going to head back to Boardwalk on the boat to get some breakfast, and I am going to drive over to Riviera because today is the very first fun run at Riviera. At least that's what's scheduled. I'm not sure if they're going to do it in the rain. So I drove over there, they let me go in and park, and I walked over to the meeting area where they're supposed to start the fun run, and there were 2 other ladies there waiting for the fun run, and there were no cast members around. And we were like, I wonder if they canceled it because of the rain. So we went inside and asked someone. They were like, yeah, we were going to cancel it because of the rain, but if the 3 of you are here and want to run, then we'll do the fun run. So they came out and they set everything up. They really only had to set up the cones at the start and finish, so you knew where to run. It was pretty simple because you just go around the lake all the way around. It's not like it's really difficult to figure out which way to go. So we started off the race, ran all the way around the lake through Caribbean Beach and then back over to Riviera. And when we got back, they gave us our prizes. We were soaking wet and didn't really care what the prize was. We wanted it because we just did that fun run. We feel like we deserve something. Thankfully, though, it was a very good prize. It was a pin, and I love collecting pins. I wish all the fun runs had them, but it was a really nice Mickey Mouse pin, and they said we also could have a treat from the bakery if we wanted to whenever they opened up later.
And while Robert was having a thrilling morning, we made it back over to Boardwalk, went to club level, and because today is a Sunday, we have a chef making our very own omelets. We get to choose what goes inside, and so I had a ham and cheese omelet. It was delicious, and it was so nice that it's prepared fresh. It's not something that's been sitting there in a warmer, so it tastes even better because you get to choose whatever you want in it. And of course they had all the other items as well, the boiled eggs, the fruit, the meat, the cheeses. Lots of items there, but honestly the main thing I wanted was the omelet because it was so good. And I wasn't sure Robert was going to make it back on time, so I did have them make one for him as well.
After the run, I did make it back over to Boardwalk and have that omelet that she had made for me. And as I was eating the omelet, we got the notification that it was time for our boarding group for Rise of the Resistance. So we finished up breakfast really quickly. It's still raining, so we didn't want to walk. We didn't want to wait for a boat. We just drove back over to Hollywood Studios and went back to ride Rise of the Resistance. Of course, we've ridden it a few times now, but Alyssa's sister has not. So we were really excited for her to get to experience this.
I was really excited for my sister to be able to ride this. It is an amazing ride, and I don't even like to call it a ride because it's really an attraction because it's kind of a show and a ride put together. But it was definitely worth getting up for. She absolutely loved it. We had a really good time, and we got to talk about it after she got off because we've ridden it before, and so we wanted to see what she liked about it, what she didn't. It was really great. We were going to stick around Hollywood Studios, but we decided to head over to Epcot instead for a couple different reasons. Number one, my sister is an annual pass holder, and we wanted to make sure she got those magnets before they no longer have any more. And we had a special character we wanted to see, but on the way to see that character, we actually got to see some surprise characters in the park, which was really awesome. Prince Philip was randomly out and about just saying hi to guests, so we stopped and took some pictures with him. But then we headed towards the place that I was so excited about, we went to go see Baymax, and I have heard great things about seeing Baymax, but this really was the greatest character interaction we've had the entire year, because I was so excited to see Baymax. I ran up to him, and when you hug Baymax, he really is inflatable. Like, he's squishy when you hug him, and I was so excited. And then he took his big old arms and put them around me and basically was like suffocating me, but I didn't even care. It was so amazing. I was so happy to see him. The photographer did such a great job taking pictures the whole time. We also got staged pictures as well once I was done hugging Baymax, but this really was such an amazing interaction. I was so glad we went to see him today. I was smiling the rest of the day because I just absolutely love seeing Baymax. At this point though, as great as that was, we were all very tired because we got up so early this morning, and we know we have a late night tonight, so we headed back to Boardwalk and decided to take a nap. We did set an alarm. We didn't want to miss dinner. We were afraid we might oversleep. So we set an alarm and headed up to the Club Level Lounge for dinner, waited up there until it was time for dessert. They had a really interesting array of desserts tonight. They did have the cookies like normal. They also had cannolis. They had homemade orange jellies, which looked really good. Everyone seemed to really enjoy those. But the highlight for me was the cheesecake. They do have 3 different kinds. However, my personal favorite is the chocolate cheesecake, because what really makes it chocolate is that there's a Hershey Kiss inside the cheesecake, which is just the best cheesecake ever.
I love it when they have cannolis, but I was also sidetracked by the cheesecake. It is really good little mini cheesecakes. So we loaded up our plates, had some of those, took a few extras down to our room and stuck them in the mini fridge for a late night snack later. And then we left and went over to the buses to find a bus over to Animal Kingdom, because Animal Kingdom is open late tonight and we're really excited to go over there and ride some rides. We also wanted to see the show that they have going on the Tree of Life. There's this new projection show that they're doing for the holidays that's really cute, but we haven't sat and watched all the way through, and also Alyssa's sister hasn't seen it, so we stood there and watched that show, and then we walked over to Rivers of Light because she hasn't seen that and she'd like to watch a little bit of that. So we watched that show as well before heading on in to ride some rides for the rest of the night. We had about an hour and a half left until the park closed, and we wanted to ride as many rides as possible. After Rivers of Light was over, we went right next door to ride Expedition Everest, or at least a couple of us did. Alyssa doesn't ride that ride, so her sister and I rode. And then we walked on over to Dino Land. The crowd was definitely thinning out. Not that it's usually very busy in Dino Land anyway. We rode Triceratops Spin. There was really no wait for that, and we enjoyed that ride going around. It was really pretty with all the lights and stuff. And then after we rode Triceratops Spin, we went over to Dinosaur. We, of course, were not scared at all when the dinosaur jumped out at us because we knew it was coming. It was totally fine. We weren't even afraid at all. So we enjoyed riding Dinosaur before heading over across the park. We're trying to work our way over to Pandora and end the night over there, but we wanted to stop at Tough to Be a Bug because her sister wanted to watch that show, and of course not really anybody waiting there this late at night, so we hopped in there and watched Tough to Be a Bug. We did avoid getting stung, thankfully, and after it was over, we headed out of Tough to Be a Bug over to Pandora.
We gave my sister the option whether she wanted to wait in the line for Flight of Passage or head to Navi River. The line for Flight of Passage was decently long, and we have had a very long day. She decided for Navi River, and I love this ride. It's very peaceful, very beautiful, and this was a really nice way to end the night. It's not very dramatic. And the fact that we were able to ride 5 rides in about an hour and a half is truly impressive and shows just how low the crowds were this late at night, especially Animal Kingdom. It normally is not open until 11 o'clock at night, so we definitely wanted to take advantage of this, and it was definitely worth coming out for.
After we finished up on Navi River, we did head out of the park. They were officially closed. Went back over to Boardwalk to our cottage where we got out those midnight snack cheesecakes that we had put away earlier, turned on an episode of Psych, and that was the end of our day today. So we'll see you tomorrow
For our Year with the Ears.